You're watching WCSD from Calloway County High School.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instruction. This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
We've all seen those engraved plaques that everybody's kids have won at various award banquets, and they feel like they have to share with the whole world on the internet. But where do these and other engraved items come from? This is Calloway Connections. I'm Bradley Smith, and with me is Luke Puckett, owner of All Lasered Up, an engraving business in Dexter, Kentucky. So Luke, how did you get into the engraving business?
Well, Bradley, we got started last year and really got interested in it when seeing engraving done for the first time myself. So I started to do some research on engraving, how that it was done, and since I've already had some experience with woodworking and other things of this nature, it was just a natural fit once I found out the engraving machine and how the process was done, learned the computer software programming that was involved with it. Then we bought our first machine last year and got started engraving ever since.
So how has business been since November?
Well, things have been going very well. When you first get started in a startup, it's always slow the first few months, but now that we're starting to get our name out there some and get some examples done and other people can see them, business has been starting to pick up, especially these last few months. Christmas, Valentine's Day, holidays are always good times for engraving gifts when you can create a customized gift for someone special.
So do you go to any festivals such as Tater Day in Marshall County and things like that?
We do. We set up at a lot of different events, vendor events, sometimes in Saturday Market, which is here in Calloway County at Murray. We set up on Saturdays when the farmers market is in, or the Saturday market on the court square. This year we did set up at Tater Day, and we were there 3 days through the weekend and had a very good weekend. And actually tonight we're going to be set up in Mayfield at the Mayfield High School, where they're having a event through FNB Bank.
That's very interesting. We see that you brought some examples here of some work that you've done. Maybe you could just talk about some of these that you've done. This looks like a pen that you've done here. How would that be done?
Sure. We start by getting the pen. It's a maple pen. We buy it already pre-assembled, but no engraving done on it. Then once we get the pen, we get the dimensions on what it is, the area that we're wanting to engrave on, and then we type that into the computer program. It's very similar to CorelDRAW, if you're familiar with that. And we get the design on it that we want. We make sure it fits the dimensions of the pen. And then from there, it's basically like a file print. You download it to the laser engraving machine. You then set your pen inside the machine, and once the pen is inside the machine and everything is lined up, you hit go, and then it will burn what you sent over from your computer program.
We'll go to some more examples over here. You could maybe just talk about them,
Sure.
Why you decided to do something here like this.
Right. This is a cherry pen holder up there that West Kentucky Zero Graphics. The owner of that, Mr. Jim Dema, contacted us about doing some pen holders for him that he gives out to his customers. So this is actually his logo. He emailed his logo to us in a vector format. We was able then to take that and get it downloaded into our program, where we resized it to the appropriate size to fit on that cherry pen holder, and then once again determining the wood, if it's a softwood or a hardwood, you determine how much power that you want to burn on it, and so that is a nice cherry pen holder that we did for West Kentucky Zero Graphics. As well, just below that is some cutouts. As well as engraving. The machine will cut wood and leather, ceramic, acrylic, other things of this nature, and that is done out of a quarter inch plywood. There, actually, it's a Baltic birch AC plywood, and then we take it from there. We take the letters that we want, we size them to the appropriate height. Our machine will do a 16 by 30, 16 inches by 30 inches, and then we put the wood in there, and the laser will cut it out as to whatever design that we want to do.
All right, we'll just talk about one more example here, then we'll take a little break. Let's see here. How about this? Kids on Campus.
Sure. Those plaques were actually some that we did for a gentleman who oversees a charity race. It is done through Murray State, and it helps to bring people into Murray State so that they can see the campus, and hopefully with the result that they will end up going to school at Murray State. And that is a 5K race that's held every year, and Mr. Brady Park oversees that, and he contacted us about burning those plaques for him, and the ones that are on the left-hand side there, they're a little bit larger. It is an 8 by 10 plaque, and they are burned with first place overall winners, and at the very bottom are the sponsors that did that. And the ones to the right, they're a 7 by 9 plaque, and they are the second place and third place winners in those overall divisions.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a break here very quickly, and we'll be right back with Callaway Connections.
Pay for college, it's just so wild, little people.
Now that we have some quiet, let's continue. He's right. College can't be afforded.
You forget the FAFSA. Lots of free money is out there if you'll just apply to get it.
That monstrosity can't be filled out. It's way too complicated.
New changes make it easier than ever to fill it out. You can fill it out as soon as October 1st now. Find out this and more at knowhowtogoky.org.
Welcome back to Callaway Connections. I'm Bradley Smith here with owner of All Lasered Up, Luke Puckett. Let's just continue our conversation we were having before the break. About laser engraving, is this something you've always wanted to do or just something you saw one day and thought, I could do that?
Well, it's not really what I always wanted to do. I don't know too many people, unless you were brought up in that would say, hey, I want to get a laser engraver and start doing this as a business. But one day, actually, my wife and I were on vacation. We were in Smoky Mountains, and we come into a store where they had a bunch of plaques that were pre-made laser engraved, and that really piqued my interest. And so once I found that, I thought, I think that's something that we can do. And so over a couple years, I talked about it, and then eventually we went ahead and got the machine. But it's not something that I always wanted to do. It was kind of one of those things a few years ago where I thought, I think I could get into this.
How much competition do you see in this market? Are you competing with many other larger businesses, or do a lot of people come through you to do their business?
Well, in our area here in Calloway County and Western Kentucky region, there's not a lot of owners of laser engravers. There are some that own different types of CNC routing machines where they can do different cutouts, but not a lot in this area that actually does laser engraving. So in our area, we do not have a lot of competition, but where we do face a lot is if you got on the internet, other sites, Etsy or places like this, where there are several other people, not only in this part of the world, but also throughout the entire world, that have laser engraving machines. So we compete with them, as well as, trying to stay competitive on price, not only locally, but also on a larger scale when you start getting into some of the people that's been doing it longer, or even larger companies that have laser engravers. And so you've got to be real competitive, but in our local area, there's not too many people that are doing laser engraving.
We know that you have a Facebook page. How much does that affect your business? Like people coming in saying, I saw your Facebook page, one of my friends shared it, and I saw how good of a product you did. Could you do something for me? How much does that happen?
Sure. Facebook is probably, or any forms of social media is real good for us, not only using Facebook, but Instagram and other things on the internet. The majority of our business does come from that or by word of mouth. When you're able to reach a mass group of people, such as through social media, Facebook, or something of this nature, it really helps the business. And so if we can make a piece for someone and they are satisfied with it, and then we ask them if they would share that on Facebook as well, and they can say, you know, this was created for us by All Lasered Up. And then that their friends see that who might not know about us yet. And so that drives a lot of attention towards our business. And then also with it being customizable, if they see something that says, you know, I created this for Luke Puckett, and you put somebody's name on it or a saying that is special to them, then they can understand, you know, hey, I want to change that name, I want to change that saying. And when they see that on social media, they're able to make that connection that, hey, I can personalize this for myself or as a gift that I might be giving to someone. So Facebook and social media have been a big part of our business and the growth of it.
We'll look at some more examples here that you brought. How about this plaque here?
Sure, that is it's made out of a pine, and it's actually around 1.5 inches that is thick, and then we double that up by putting another 1.5 inch board on it and gluing it together, so it turns out to be 3 inches thick. And then we come in and we drill holes in the top, and we place in these tea lights. Of course, the saying on the front is customizable, and it talks about this light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And obviously, when you're doing anything with tea lights or candles that can be lit, it just kind of draws it all into that centerpiece of it being a tea light. And we make those in the different sizes. There's one actually pictured right below it that only has 2 tea lights instead of 3. So we're able to customize the length depending on the saying or what phrase that you might want engraved alongside those tea lights.
Would you say most of your business comes from people calling and saying, hey, could you make this for me? Or people looking at things like this and saying, could you customize something like this for me?
We probably get more on the customizing part of it. You do get a few people that will call and say, you know, hey, I see you're a laser engraving business. Can you engrave on this? Or can you say this certain saying? And so we do get a lot that way, but most of it is customizing a piece that they've already seen.
All right. We'll look at these here. Can you talk about those?
Those pieces there are something that we had actually seen those sayings on many other places. You know, there's no place like home. And of course, if you grew up in Western Kentucky, and I've lived in Calloway County my whole life, there's no place like home to us. And so we thought, well, why can't we get this put on some type of plaque? So once again, that is a cedar plaque that says there's no place like home with Kentucky engraved on it. And some people have asked for us to put a star in the West Kentucky area, and we're able to do that. That shows that this is home for us.
One last thing we'll talk about here before we go. We see that you've made this piece here for us here in the Callaway County Laker TV department. Could you talk about the process you went through to make this?
Sure. We started out with just a piece of that's a 1x4 cedar there, and after we found out the invitation to come and be on the show, we thought, you know, why not make something for all that's involved in the process that goes into Laker TV. So we decided, you know, well, what's greater than Lakers? And so we typed that out in our computer program. We just typed out the word Lakers, and then we sent it over to the machine. That is a cedar wood. We burned that, and our machine is measured in millimeters per second instead of seconds, but that was around 325 millimeters per second. And we burned that at about 32% power, and we have a 60-watt machine. So we're not quite, you know, using 25 watts or so there to burn that in. And it took about 2.5 to 3 minutes to burn that in. Gives it a nice dark color, but you can still see the grains, and that's what I really like about cedar wood. And we're glad that we could bring that in and give it to the department here at Callaway County TV, Laker TV.
Thank you for joining us. This has been Calloway Connections. I'm Bradley Smith here with Luke Puckett.